Hi.
Are you really just jumping into it?
No, I'm not going to just jump into it. What do you want to talk about? I'll just tell you a story about the time my coach put me on a reverse diet.
They don't even know we're talking about a reverse diet.
Oh, okay. In this
We have to
video,
welcome back to the channel.
Welcome back to the channel. I'm Jessica. This is Melissa. We are JM Strength Academy, and today we're going to talk about how to properly reverse diet.
No. Today we're going to talk about how to reverse diet without gaining weight.
So how to properly reverse diet?
Without gaining weight.
Isn't that implied?
No. You have to explicitly say things.
Do you want to tell them what they should do if they enjoy our content and they want more of it?
Yes. If you like our content, if you like us, you can go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and then you can hit the bell. That's going to give you notification for when we post new videos. Get notified that the video's up.
Yes. That the video's up. And period.
Okay.
Jump into it. Jump into it now?
Now jump into it.
Okay, so let's talk about how to reverse diet, why to reverse diet, and why it's so important for fat loss. Nobody can lose fat forever, right? If you just continue in a fat loss phase forever, number one, you'll either run out of body fat and die eventually, or your metabolism is going to become adapted. So,
Which is when you hit a plateau.
Not necessarily.
The majority of dieters for our audience, like if they continue dieting, like you're dieting, like maybe you're gonna see progress, and then all of a sudden you're going to just like, flatline.
Yeah, and like you won't see any changes in body composition, you won't see any movement in the scale. There's gonna be like zero progress, period, no biofeedback that's changing. When you say plateau, it means like everything just stops like forever. It's not just that like the scale hasn't moved for a week. You can't lose fat forever, so we need to make sure that we have different phases. In one phase, we're in fat loss phase. In another phase, we're going to be in maintenance phase. Sometimes we might be in, a bulking phase for very few people who are looking to put on additional muscle and pull off body fat. But for most people, we're either going to be in fat loss or we're going to be in maintenance. And in order to get from fat loss to maintenance level, we need to reverse diet.
I think before we kind of get into all that, like the biggest question is, how do you know if you're ready for a reverse diet?
I think number one, like you've either gotten as lean as you possibly can, right? So we've taken some clients down, like we've got them to a really good place where they're really happy with their body composition. So from there, we don't need to diet anymore. At that point, we can reverse diet. The other thing is that you're just not mentally in it anymore. You're kind of checked out, like you don't really feel like dieting.
The diet feels more restricted than like enjoyable.
Yeah, I think your body's no longer responding to any type of protocol at all, like we talked about before, right? Like you are not seeing any changes in the scale, no changes in body composition, no improvements in biofeedback. So we've just kind of, like you said, flatlined. Love that.
I love it.
Doctor. So I think that's one telltale sign that it's time. Or for most people, if you've been in a cut for somewhere between 6, 7, 8 months, it's probably a good time to start thinking about reverse dieting to bring your body back up to maintenance. That's going to give like your hormones a break, your metabolism a break, and set you up to be able to lose fat more efficiently, like when we move into the next fat loss phase.
I think the next question is like, how long does this phase take? Like how long should you be reverse dieting for?
Yeah, because a lot of times people are like, I don't want to reverse diet. I just want to like diet and like lose fat forever. We know that that's not possible. We need to remember that just like, reverse dieting is as important as fat loss phases are. So in this case, like there is no one size fits all answer for how long anyone needs to be in a reverse diet.
Yeah. Like I think what you don't want to do is you don't want to like reverse diet for like a month or like 2 weeks, like 3 weeks, a month, and just be like, okay, now I'm gonna go back to dieting, because essentially that's kind of going back to that old mindset of like restrict and then kind of like let loose, and not that you're binging, but you're just kind of, it's like a free for all.
Yeah.
You still want structure to it, and you still want to make sure you're like you're eating a reasonable amount of calories for an extended period of time so that you're reverse dieting without gaining weight. Because if you just go off the rails for like a few weeks or a month, you're probably going to put on a few like pounds of fat that you don't want.
Not a reverse diet. Just to be clear, like going off the rails, and we've seen some reverse diets like totally botched, whether it's by other coaches or by people trying to take themselves through a reverse diet. It can be a total mess, and it can lead to like, gaining back all the weight you lost plus more. Remember that reverse diets are like a structured actual like increase in calories. We'll talk about that in a second. I would say a good rule of thumb for most people is we want to be in a maintenance phase or like a reverse diet phase for probably about as long as your fat loss phase was. So if you were in a fat loss phase for 3 months, we might want to stay around maintenance for about 3 months.
Even like if it was 6 months that you were in a dieting phase for, then you probably want to do like 6 months of or a reverse diet.
Yeah, and again, this kind of depends. It depends on how much, fat you have to lose.
Right.
It depends on how long you've been dieting for, like the state of your metabolism. There's so many factors that go into it, but for most people, like you're looking at a minimum of probably like 3 months for like a sustained reverse diet.
Now, the biggest question is, how do we actually reverse diet? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, so reverse dieting, like we talked about, right? It's not just a free-for-all. It's not eating like whatever you want. It's more of like a structured adding in of calories to the level of calories that you're currently eating, right? So let's say you're eating only 1,400 calories a day. We're gonna slowly and strategically start to add more calories back into like your protocol to make sure that we're getting the amount of calories that you're eating each day back up to what is maintenance level. So that means that, your body will neither lose weight or gain weight during this time. We're just trying to, again, like protect the health of your metabolism. The important part is, hopefully you have a good coach that's going to help lead you through this reverse diet, because it's not just a numbers game. It's not just adding calories back in. It's not just, increasing food. Like that's a piece of it. But during this phase 2, right, we want to be focused on like body composition and make sure that, we're not putting on a ton of fluff, right? We're not adding a ton of fat. We want to make sure body composition stays relatively the same. The goal is neither, like we said, right, it's maintenance. So you neither want to gain weight or lose weight. We want to stay the same weight, about like give or take like 2-3 pounds. We want body composition to remain the same, but we also want to be looking for improvements in biofeedback.
Like energy, sleep, stress, digestion.
Yeah, like all of that's
recovery,
improving.
like any recovery from like training that you're doing. So if all of that's improving and like you're not losing weight, you're not really gaining weight, you're just kind of like there, that's all a really good sign that the reverse diet is actually working. We hope this was helpful, and again, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the little bell to make sure you're notified when we post our videos.
I was gonna do that to you.
Oh, I got you first.
Okay.